What's going on, guys? I'm Dan. This is Scented Waters, and today I have a double header for you. This time from the house of Parfums Vintage. But before we go any further, how about you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. So, Parfums Vintage came out with another two fragrances. Are they clones of Aventus? No. But are they clones of something else? Yes. Let me not say clones, but interpretations. Because you know what? Parfums Vintage always has their own little twist on things. So, let's cut to the chase. The two fragrances that Parfums Vintage just came out with are Evolutions de l'Homme Matin and Evolutions de l'Homme Soir. So, the interpretation that these two Matin and Soir are going after are Elysium. Before we get into the fragrance themselves, let's get into the presentation. On Matin and Soir, you have the same type of box, black with the gold trim. One says Matin, the other one says Soir. Got the embossed Parfums Vintage logo in the box themselves. In the back, you have that same mural. When it comes to the bottles themselves, same type of bottles that Parfums Vintage runs with. At the bottom, they have, right here it says Matin at the bottom. At the bottom of this one, it says Soir. Same caps on both, same type of labeling on both. Same type of sprayers. Great sprayers on these. Before we actually get into the fragrances themselves, I'll give you the notes. So when it comes to Evolution de l'Homme Matin, top notes are pink pepper, juniper berry, and grapefruit. Lemon, bergamot, and lime, thyme, and artemisia. I think that's how it's pronounced. For the mids, you have jasmine, blackcurrant, and apple, rose, cypro, cedar, and patchouli. And for the base, you have birch, musk, vanilla, and ambergris. When it comes to Evolution de l'Homme Soir, the notes are pink pepper, juniper berry, and grapefruit, lemon, bergamot, and lime, thyme, and artemisia. And for the mid notes, you have jasmine, blackcurrant, and apple cypriol, cedar, and vetiver. And for the base, you have benzoin, musk, vanilla, labdanum, leather, and ambergris. When it comes to Matin, off top you get a very crisp, light, citrusy vibe. Slight fruity. Get a lot of that citrus like the lime, bergamot, and grapefruit. Very crisp, very fresh. Something that definitely is made for Matin, the daytime, the morning. It feels very lively. It's something that I feel gives you that boost of energy in the morning. Not saying that that's what it does, but to me, that's the vibe that it gives off. When it comes to Soir, you still get that very citrusy type opening, but that vetiver comes through a lot more. It smells a little bit earthy. It feels also a little bit darker than Matin, which once again, Soir pretty much states what it has, or what it does. It's more for the nighttime. It has a stronger, thicker base, like just a little darker tone than Matin does. You know what's funny? I spray Matin on one hand and Soir on the other. At first, I can smell Matin very clearly, but then when I smell Soir, I can smell that very clearly. But then when I went back to Matin, like this one faded out very quickly, as if this one just overtook this one big time. It's like drinking chocolate milk and then having a chocolate chip cookie and then going back to drinking that chocolate milk again. You barely taste the chocolate in that chocolate milk. If I let that sit for a little while, Matin will come back to me. But yet, past all that, the fragrance itself smells very good. Both of them actually smell very good. This one just smells a little bit more mature, which is Soir. And I think it's just that vetiver and leather that just gives it that little bit darker feel to it, or heavier feel to it. Once again, let me just make it clear, I've never smelled Elysium or I've never had a decant from them, but I have recreations or interpretations from two other popular interpretation houses. And I'm pretty much basing these two off of those. And when it comes to the actual smell, I think Soir gets closer towards those two, but I think I like Matin a lot more than I do Soir. But don't get me wrong, Soir smells very freaking good, but Matin just gives me just a little bit lighter vibe, less in your face, just more energetic type of feel. One more thing I forgot to mention is the labels. Same label that I told you I don't really care for too much. That paper label that just has those wrinkles on the edge. That's the one part when it comes to Parfums Vintage fragrances that have these type of labels that I don't care for. I just wish they'd step that part up. Besides that, it's not the bottle, it's not the label, it's all about the juice inside. But that's just me being a little nitpicky. Oh yeah, disclaimer, Parfums Vintage did not send me these bottles. I purchased these when they were released. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add is, when it comes to the dispatch time, it usually says 10 days on the website, but I ordered this on Wednesday and received it on the following Wednesday. So I think that's more of a suggestion or something more to cover their tail of the maximum amount of time that it might take for it to be dispatched. But I got these fairly quick after I ordered them, can't complain. When it came to longevity and projection of these two, I got pretty much the same result for both of them, even though that I heard that Soir was supposed to be a little bit less on the performance side, but performance, I got like about 6 or 7 hours for a work day and about 2 hours projection. I felt that these were pretty good for a fresh type of fragrance or citrusy type of fragrance. No complaints. What I kind of compare this to from another interpretation that Parfums Vintage already made is their take on Green Irish Tweed, which I think was Verbena Field and Emerald Isle. They accomplished the same type of fragrance at the end, but at the beginning they smell completely different. With these two, they smell completely different, but later on they actually don't turn into the same fragrance. They have the same vein of those other two renditions of Elysium, but they both stay in their separate lanes. They never mesh to be like the same type of fragrance. Like, they don't end up to be the smell of Elysium. They have their own little twist to them, I feel. But I've heard Soir smells more towards Elysium than Matin does. So if this one smells like Elysium at the end, then so be it. If that's what you're looking for, then go with Soir. But Matin has its own little twist with the same type of vein of Elysium, I guess. So all in all, which one do I like better when it comes between Matin and Soir? I personally would go with Matin because it's just a little lighter feel to me. Unless maybe I'm not much of a vetiver type of person, or at least a vetiver that they have in here. Don't get me wrong, this is still a great fragrance and I like it a lot, but Matin just kicks it up a little bit for me. The difference that's between Matin and Soir, I think this one, from what I remember, has the patchouli in it, and Soir has a difference of vetiver and labdanum and leather, which give it the more Soir, darker, nighttime type of feel. Giving Soir a rating 1 out of 10, I give it a good 7.5. It's great, longevity is good. Giving Matin a rating 1 out of 10, this one I would give an 8. This one I like a lot. It is what it is. Do I think it warrants a purchase to buy both of these? No, honestly, if you're a more patchouli type of person, you pick Matin. If you're more of a vetiver type of person, then you pick Soir. You know what? Each one has their own lane that they drive in. This one is just the fresher type, the cleaner. This one's just a little bit dirtier. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a more dirty vetiver. Parfums Vintage did a great job when it came to Evolution de l'Homme Matin and Soir. Great pickups. Do I think you should go pick up both? No. Get samples first. Get your nose on them. Don't blind buy these like I did. Once again, I'm always breaking my own rules, but whatever. Rules are made to be broken. But don't let my kids hear that. Not only do I think that these warrant a purchase, either one of these, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them, but the price that Elysium is going for is ridiculous compared to what you get with these two. So there you go, guys. That's my take on Parfums Vintage, Evolution de l'Homme Matin, and Soir. Let me know in the comment sections, have you smelled either one of these? Do you have them in your collection yet? Have you smelled Elysium? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. Evolution de l'Homme Matin, Evolution de l'Homme Soir. Great fragrances by Parfums Vintage, but at the end of the day, still scented water.